Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Shadowbox. We made it.
We did.
Somehow.
I know.
So we're going to go straight into our first question, which was submitted on Facebook, on our Ask Shadowbox page on Facebook. And it is, what is a first degree witch? Now, I incorporate a lot of pagan, Wiccan ethos into my own daily living, but Isla is the expert on what it is.
Well, I wouldn't exactly
witch,
say an expert.
I will hand over to her and she can go a bit more in depth.
Hi everyone, we're back with less colourful language. This is a really hard one to answer because it's hard for me to define exactly what it is. It's kind of like, so first off, the Wiccan is a pagan-based, it's an earth-based religion, a nature-based religion, and it's more of a way of a life than, it's not like obtaining, say, a degree. Oh, it is a degree, I guess. It's not like obtaining a qualification in other areas. It's actually more of a marker. So it's more of, to start off with, I had to do an outer court. So I did my outer court. With all these outer courts and with all these passages, it brings up a lot of shit. So it's not something to do or enter into lightly. It's actually really hard work because it involves you looking at yourself and your shadow self. See, that shadow shit follows me everywhere. Shadow. It involved a lot of inner work. So, and predominantly it's a self-guided spiritual journey. It's not something that you can plan and say, you know, in a year or two I'm going to go and do ... You can certainly aim for it, but it's a self-guided thing. There's no fast track. Not if you're doing it the right way. So it's taken me 3 years to get here. I have only just been initiated the start of March, just gone. So I started off doing an outer court with a local coven. I ended up doing the outer court again due to me wanting to run away like a little bitch and not face myself. So it brought up a lot of issues for me. A lot of avoidance tactics were used. So I ended up opting to, rather than going ahead and be what they call being crafted into the community, I decided to redo my outer court. It was a huge decision and it was a really hard decision, but it was necessary and I'm glad I did it. So the outer court is basically an introduction to your Wicca. So you learn all about the history, the festivals and all the rest of it. So that's kind of really just a very basic intro. And each coven will teach it differently and they'll have different ways of doing it. Ours was very much about self, which was good and bad. It was hard, but it was good. So I did that first. Your crafting ritual involves, basically what that is it's a really, really nice ritual, and it's just a way of acknowledging your path and where you are and where you're headed. So it's more like a welcoming from the community to say, you know, we welcome you into the community. We recognise that you're on this path and you're about to go down these stages. You're not officially classed as a witch until you do your first degree level. Traditionally, it's a year and a day to get from your crafting, so you enter into your novice period. To get from novice to first degree is normally a year and a day. Probably took me longer than that, to be honest. Yes, it did. It took me about 15 months. So I did my crafting on December 4th, and then the year later, no, another year and a bit later, I did it on my first degree was the 2nd of March. Just gone. What it is it's opening the door to far more shit than you probably can handle. It's hard work. It involves a lot of going deeper into yourself, exploring in depth the rituals and the festivals and the Sabbats and everything like that. So it's massive. It's a lot of work. If you're going to do it properly, like our coven, it's basically a lot of homework. And the only reward that you're going to get from it is a reward for yourself and what you're learning. It's an emotional journey and it's a huge lifestyle upheaval. I truly believed that by doing my Wiccan stuff, which I'd been interested in since I was a kid, but I'm 42 and I'm only just starting to climb back onto where I wanted to be. And I honestly thought that I could just practice a few things, continue to write spells, continue to work magic and create and learn about this. And I just thought, I can do this on the peripheral and, you know, it's going to be over there. I'm going to have my life here and it's going to be over there. And that hasn't happened. It's ended up literally just, it's kind of encompassed my life and it's actually become an integral part of my life. So if you are serious about becoming a witch, it involves hard work, and it's not just, you can be a part-timer if you want to, but if you want to really get the rewards, it's jumping in with both feet. So a first degree witch basically means that I'm now recognised in the community as a witch, so I can now actually call myself a witch. But the lessons, there's still a shitload more to go. You've got your first degree, then you've got second degree, and then you've got your third, which is your high priest or high priestess. I'm really not in a hurry for second degree because this brings a whole bunch of batshit crazy crap with it now. So, yeah, it's a huge roller coaster, but it is a way of life, and you learn so much more about everything. It's very pagan, it's very earthy. I'm also interested in shamanism, so for me, I'm kind of an eclectic. I like to mix and match. I don't like just one thing,
mixed bag of crazy.
I'm a mixed bag of crazy nuts, and it's awesome. But yeah, a first degree witch is basically, it's like a rite of passage. I want to call it a rite of passage, but it's a stepping stone into further studies, further self-work, and there is a ton of self-work. And yeah, it definitely hasn't been an easy ride, but it's awesome. I love it. It's a way of life. You end up living and breathing it. My 9-year-old is following in my footsteps, and she believes she kind of heals earth, so she goes out and does a lot of spells. See, I'm one of those green thumbs that kill everything. She brings it back to life. I have a black thumb. Yeah, she's my balance. I kill it, she brings it back to life. The system works. So yeah, it's just a way of life. It's just another earth-based thing. We celebrate nature, and that's basically what we do. We celebrate nature and we learn about it and work with it. So yeah, it's probably a really long-winded thing to say, but yeah, it's a hard thing to explain. But yeah. And Laura does all that anyway. So yeah, I think that's about right. Yes. Hopefully that answered some questions. If not, just because yeah, it's a really hard one to explain, and it's hard to find the wording. So please ask me if you want something kind of clarified.
Break it down.
Yeah, and I'll try and break it down for you as best as possible. But yeah, it's I certainly don't shoot fire out my fingers or have big warts on my nose. I do wear a pointy hat when I can. And I do wear a cape, but I can't fly on a broomstick yet. But I'm trying.
But do you know how to get a good grip on your broomstick?
Oh, hell yeah. I do. I know how to control my broom.
Don't wear any knickers?
No.
So you get a good grip?
Get a good grip. Fly really well. So, no, I don't. I'm a naughty witch. I'm a naughty little Wiccan. Yeah, so, yeah, hopefully that explains what it is.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
As we were talking... Interesting. Talking about witches often brings up that wise woman.
Yeah.
It tends to conjure up all that, you know, that wise woman, that mother line, all that deep rooted
feminine wisdom,
feminine stuff.
Yeah.
And I have this incredibly masculine presence who sort of came through while you were talking, which I thought was quite interesting, trying to balance it out. And he's just, he's sort of caped and very sort of typical druid looking. Yeah. And he's just like floating the incense over your face as you were talking.
He may be trying to perform an exorcism while we're talking.
And I was like, wow, it was like, boom. So you never know what's going to happen.
No, that's interesting.
And I feel like he was kind of just holding space while you're talking.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Very interesting. And he's just like this huge. And
it's very interesting how you explained it, because it is. I mean, witches basically were, you know, very earth-based people. They were, you know, the ones, the wise woman, the little crazy lady in the shack that would have the earth remedies and stuff like that. I know, me too. But that's all a witch is they provided holistic care, you know, for the people, and that's what they are. They were the healers, they were the readers, you know, the seers. They were, and they were shunned. So witches have been given a bad name throughout history for that reason. So yeah, and all it is We're people who have an ability to be able to read and work with nature and understand nature, and to provide holistic, you know, guidance for others, and that's really all it is. And I've been doing that anyway throughout my life. The last 20 years with doing readings and all the rest, all the spiritual work I've done, I've been doing that anyway.
Yeah.
This was just a way for me to really understand who I was at my core and to dig deeper, and that's what it was. And it's been a massive dig. It's like, it's an excavation. That's really what it was. It was just an excavation into my own shit and facing it and going, well, fuck, what do you want to be? And who are you, essentially?
Yeah. And
that's what it's been. So I would never, ever want to change that, ever. It's been amazing. So, but it's been hard. But yeah, I would totally do it again. Thank you for holding space for me.
Thank you, beautiful witchy friend.
Yeah, thank you. Says the witchy one sitting here.
So, I hope that answers.
Yeah, I do. I hope that does answer. And then next time we'll tackle some other questions.
Yeah, and if you need that fleshed out at all, like.
Yes, please, you know, make comments and we'll do our best to get back to you as soon as we can, and I'll answer what I can. I'm not always good at finding the right words unless I've kind of, you know, if I'm away from here and I'm sitting and I'm really looking at it, it's a bit easier to, articulate. It's harder to do when you're in front of a camera, but yeah, hopefully that helps and that answers some questions. So, there is, while I'm talking about it, if you want to know more information, there is, if you're in WA, if you're in Perth, there is a local group called Combined Covens Social Club, a really, really good one to check out on Facebook, and they have lots of stuff. And they hold space for other community, and it's not just the witches, it's the druids as well. So it's just pagans. Okay, so if you want information, Combined Covens Social Club on Facebook, and just tell them that the Pyjama Medium sent you. And yeah, one of my high priestesses is actually one of the people that run it. So yeah.
And don't forget to subscribe
to
the Shadow Box.
Shadow Box. Where we will become dangerously close to maybe stepping over the line a little bit. But yeah.
Where the line is but a dot on the horizon.
No. Which is so far away. That's a nice big line. But yeah, please comment below. Check out our websites, lauraelizabeth.com.au.
Yep.
And thepyjamamedium.xyz. Please check us out. We'll leave some links down below, and if there's any questions, please leave a comment and we'll get back to you.
Cool.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Blessed be.
Blessed be.